What if I told you that the secret to becoming more uniquely, authentically human online is to basically hand your entire life story over to a machine?
I mean, it sounds completely backwards,
It's
right?
totally backwards.
Yeah, because we're so conditioned to view artificial intelligence as this mass production engine, something that just churns out robotic text and smooths away all of our actual human quirks.
Right, like we're all just going to sound the same.
Exactly. But the research we are looking at today, which by the way includes data from industry giants like IBM and McKinsey, it completely flips that premise on its head.
It really does.
It proposes that if you use AI as a highly intelligent mirror rather than just a generator, it can actually reveal your professional X factor with a level of clarity that honestly most people just never achieve on their own.
And that distinction, between a mirror and a generator, that's really the core of what we're unpacking in today's deep dive.
It is the whole ball game.
Yeah. So just to set our mission for today, the goal isn't to figure out how to, automate your LinkedIn presence so you can just go play golf.
As nice as that sounds.
Right, sadly, no. Our mission is to give you a practical, actionable roadmap for turning AI into a strategic ally. An ally that actually multiplies your visibility without sacrificing a single drop of your human authenticity.
Because nobody wants to read something that sounds like it was written by a 2005 textbook.
Exactly. And the source material has this really great metaphor that I love. It says to think of AI not as a replacement for human effort, but kind of like a hyper-gifted friend.
Oh, yeah, the closet analogy.
Yes, a friend who just comes over and organizes your messy closet for you, but professionally, 24/7.
Which I think we could all use. And by the end of this deep dive, you're going to walk away knowing exactly how to do that. You'll be able to define your unique positioning in a single sentence, generate customized content ideas in under 30 minutes, optimize your digital profiles, and maybe most importantly, navigate the ethical side of AI without losing your true voice.
Right. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of, training a language model to sound like you, we kind of need to establish what that model is actually trying to capture.
The brand itself.
Yeah. We throw the term personal brand around constantly. But based on the framework in our sources, how are we defining that today?
So, according to the source, a personal brand is simply the perception others have of you, and it's built on three main pillars: your values, your expertise, and your consistent actions.
Okay.
Basically, it is your unique story translated into the digital world.
Translated, right? Not fabricated.
Exactly, not fabricated. But this brings up a core distinction from the text. AI does not create your brand, it reveals it.
Which is a huge shift in how people usually think about it.
It's massive. Think of it like a gold prospector panning a river.
Okay, I like that.
The river is the messy, overwhelming, totally unstructured data of your 10-year career. It's your past performance reviews, your old emails, the projects that went amazing, the projects that totally failed.
Just a giant pile of raw material.
Right. And when you dump all of that into an AI, the AI acts as the sifting pan. It washes away the generic daily tasks and the corporate jargon, and it catches those heavy gold nuggets.
The actual valuable stuff.
Yes, it spots the connective tissue in your career that you are simply too close to see yourself.
That makes a lot of sense because we really do suffer from the curse of knowledge about our own lives,
Oh, absolutely.
Like I might think of myself purely as a project manager, but if an AI scans my history, it might highlight that my actual rare skill is crisis de-escalation in high-stakes technical environments.
Precisely. And once the AI helps you identify those hidden strengths, it becomes so much easier to communicate them consistently, which is key because the source material really emphasizes this concept called semantic repetition.
Semantic repetition. Let's dig into that because we hear a lot about beating the algorithm, but what does semantic repetition actually look like under the hood?
Well, under the hood, search algorithms, whether we're talking about Google or LinkedIn, they don't just read words anymore, they build knowledge graphs.
Okay.
They're trying to link entities together. So if you talk about project management one day and then graphic design the next day and crypto the day after that.
You're confusing it.
Right. The algorithm cannot form a strong edge or connection between your name and a specific area of expertise. Semantic repetition doesn't mean saying the exact same robotic catchphrase every day.
Thank goodness.
Right. It just means consistently communicating around a core set of themes. Studies show that when you repeat those themes, you strengthen the mathematical link between your profile and that topic.
So if my positioning is just this tangled paragraph of mixed interest, The algorithm basically drops me because it literally doesn't know what shelf to put me on.
It drops you. And honestly, more importantly, human attention spans drop you.
Yeah, it's true.
The cognitive load on a human reader trying to decipher what you actually do is just too high.
But I'm still struggling with something here. I want to push back on this a bit.
Sure, go for it.
Using artificial intelligence to build a personal brand just feels like an oxymoron to me. Like, doesn't outsourcing your story inherently make it less personal?
I hear that a lot.
Is this basically like hiring a personal biographer, but one that isn't allowed to take any exaggerated poetic licenses? Like, how does this not just make us all sound identical?
That is the big fear. But to use your biographer analogy, yes, it is like hiring a biographer, but you are the one supplying all the journals, the letters, the raw facts. The AI only works with the authentic material you provide. If you just ask it to make something up, yes, you'll sound generic. But if you use it as that mirror, feeding it your real data, it reflects you. Which actually leads us perfectly into the 5-step formula outlined in the research. How do we actually set that mirror up to get the best reflection?
Right, let's get into the practical application.
Yeah.
The source lays out this highly specific formula, and step 1 is self-discovery.
Yes.
And what's cool is it gives a literal, actionable prompt you can use today in ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini.
It's a great prompt. Do you have it there?
I do. So you instruct the AI, you say,
Yep.
Analyze my CV and experiences, and then you literally just paste in your raw, unedited career history.
Don't hold back. Just dump it all in.
Yeah, all of it. And then you add, extract my 5 unique strengths, values, and value proposition 4, and then you insert your target audience.
It's like unbiased therapy for your resume.
It really is. You're forcing a pattern-matching engine to find the signal in your noise. And the expert strategies in the text suggest taking those insights and running them through a tool like MindMeister or Notion AI.
Right, to turn it into a visual mind map of your professional DNA.
Exactly. Which brings us to step 2, which is clear positioning.
Yes, and this is where you have to condense that massive mind map into something usable. The source provides a very strict formula for this. I help audience achieve result through your unique method.
I can literally hear people listening to this groaning at how restrictive that sounds.
Oh, I know, it is restrictive, but it's restrictive by design. This formula completely strips away the fluff.
No more dynamic paradigm-shifting synergy architect.
Exactly. No more of that. You are forced into absolute clarity. Like, let's say you're in SaaS customer success. Instead of a rambling bio, your sentence becomes, I help mid-sized SaaS companies reduce churn by 20% through behavioral onboarding.
Wow, yeah. That is so much clearer.
That single sentence tells the human exactly why they should care, and it gives the algorithm exactly the semantic keywords it needs to index you.
Okay, so step 1 is discovery. Step 2 is that clear positioning sentence. Step 3 is authentic content creation. And this is the massive roadblock for most people.
Oh, yeah. The tone.
Right. I know what my core themes are, but when I actually sit down to write a post, how do I train the AI to draft it without stripping out my actual personality?
So this requires moving past basic prompting. You actually have to train the model on your voice. The research highly recommends Claude for this, by the way, because it really grasps nuance well.
Okay, good tip.
You do this by feeding the AI a substantial amount of your past writing. We're talking about thousands of words of your actual emails, past articles, or even transcripts of you speaking. And you use a prompt like, write like me. Professional, but approachable, with touches of humor.
Let me pause you there, though, because I want to make sure we understand how this works technically. When I feed Claude 1,000 words of my old emails, what is it actually doing with that text?
Right, it's not just reading it, it's analyzing your token prediction probabilities.
Token prediction.
Yeah. Large language models generate text by predicting the next most likely piece of a word, a token based on its training data. Normally, it relies on its massive, generic, internet-wide training set.
Which is why it usually sounds like a bland corporate robot.
Exactly. But when you feed it your specific writing, you are giving it a localized data set. It analyzes your unique cadence, your sentence length, your vocabulary choices.
Oh.
If you frequently use a specific phrase, or if you write in short, punchy sentences, the AI adjusts its internal weights to make those choices mathematically more probable when it generates text for you.
So I'm essentially weighting the dice so it rolls my vocabulary.
That is a perfect way to put it.
And the tools don't stop at text, which leads to step 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Visual optimization and measurement.
Right, the whole ecosystem.
The source runs through using Midjourney, DLE, or Canva Magic Studio to generate banners and visual assets that match your new tone,
Mm.
and then using tools like Brand24 to monitor mentions or Notion AI for your editorial calendar.
It really is a full stack.
Yeah.
And the hard data backing this up is pretty wild. According to the
Mhm.
source, using these tools strategically can increase your content creation efficiency by 70 to 80%.
Okay, I see the 80% efficiency boost. And this is a big, but I have to push back here.
Okay.
If everyone listening to this deep dive goes out tomorrow, trains Claude on their emails, gets Taplio, uses Canva, aren't we just going to drown in a sea of perfectly optimized, identical AI voices?
Yeah.
Like, how do we actually stand out when the barrier to creating good content drops to literally zero?
You are hitting on the exact reason most people will actually fail at this.
Really?
Yes, because moving at the speed with AI creates a whole new set of dangers. The source actually calls this the authenticity trap.
The authenticity trap.
The trap is believing that efficiency equals effectiveness. The absolute golden rule here is that you can never, ever just copy and paste the AI's output. If you let the machine generate your content without a heavy, final human edit, you are trading long-term trust for short-term efficiency.
And trust is the entire currency of a personal brand.
Exactly. Parasocial relationships, the connections an audience feels with the creator online, they're built on vulnerability. They're built on the slight imperfections of the human experience.
Right.
An AI cannot generate genuine human vulnerability. It can only simulate it. And human beings are incredibly adept at sensing that simulation. The source explicitly warns that generic content severely erodes trust.
The moment an audience senses they are reading unedited machine output, you just become invisible in that sea of noise.
Completely invisible.
This connects perfectly to why that 80% efficiency boost is still so crucial, but maybe not in the way people think. The value of the AI isn't that it does the final work for you. The value is that it protects your cognitive budget.
Yes, let's talk about the psychology of cognitive load for a second. Staring at a blank page requires a massive amount of executive function.
Oh, it's the worst.
Your prefrontal cortex has to organize thoughts, structure an argument, and pull words from your vocabulary all at once. By the time you finish a first draft, your cognitive energy is depleted. You have nothing left for the nuance.
So the AI acts as a cognitive shield. It takes on the friction of the blank page.
Exactly.
It gives you a structured, mathematically sound first draft, which maybe only takes up 20% of your energy. And that leaves you with 80% of your mental battery to do the vital human work, injecting empathy, adding a controversial opinion, or, weaving in a highly specific anecdote from your day.
That is the synergy the research is talking about. But this brings up a fascinating contradiction from the text. The burnout paradox.
The burnout paradox.
You would assume that if an AI is doing all this heavy lifting, we'd all be relaxing on a beach. But burnout is still absolutely rampant among creators using these tools.
Why is that? Because directing a machine is still executive functioning.
Exactly. It's the difference between being a craftsman and a factory manager. The AI is a loom that runs 24 hours a day. But you still have to source the silk, design the patterns, and do the quality control. You still require scheduled creative rest.
Because the AI can work 24/7, but the human pilot cannot. It makes me think of an analogy. It's like AI might hand you the keys to a digital sports car.
Okay.
But if you don't actually know how to drive, if you don't have the fundamentals, you're just going to crash 80% faster.
That is exactly what happens. You accelerate your mistakes.
And speaking of mistakes, there were two massive red flags in the text regarding ethics that we absolutely have to cover before anyone starts dumping their career data into these prompts.
Bias and privacy.
Yes. Let's start with bias. The text points out that AI has a tendency to perpetuate stereotypes if it's not guided properly.
And just to be clear, we are neutrally reporting what the research states here. Because these models are trained on historical internet data, they can output biased assumptions. You have to verify everything. You are responsible for what you publish.
Always. And the second red flag is privacy. When we talk about feeding it thousands of words of past emails, we are dealing with a huge risk.
The absolute rule from the source is never feed sensitive personal or company data into public AI tools. No unreleased financial figures, no proprietary company secrets. You have to be incredibly meticulous about anonymizing the raw materials you use.
So it really sounds like while AI handles the digital scale, the skills that actually differentiate you become distinctly analog.
That is the ultimate conclusion of the academic studies in the text. They explicitly highlight the need for a human-centered approach.
Right.
Because AI can handle the digital heavy lifting, your offline, uniquely human skills become exponentially more valuable. Emotional storytelling, deep empathy, offline networking.
Like actually meeting a human being for coffee.
Exactly. Shaking a hand, reading a room. These are unstructured human interactions that algorithms cannot replicate. In a market saturated with AI-generated competence, your physical presence is your true differentiator.
So we are not surrendering to the machine, we're leveraging it to amplify the human element.
That's the synergy.
Let's bring this all together for you, the listener. The core message of this deep dive is actually incredibly empowering. AI is your co-pilot, not the pilot. You are still completely at the wheel of your own story.
And the best way to really understand this is to just experiment with it. I challenge you to take 30 minutes this week. Grab your resume, run it through one of these models, using that self-discovery prompt. Ask it to find your core strengths and your one-sentence positioning.
Do the experiment. Watch it sift the river of your data and hand you back the gold nuggets. Because once you see those patterns clearly articulated, it won't feel like you're outsourcing your personality. It'll feel like a superpower.
It takes the guesswork out of your career.
It really does. But I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder today, something that builds on everything we've uncovered. If AI gets so incredibly good at analyzing our patterns that it knows our professional strengths and blind spots better than we do, will the future of personal branding be less about going on some introspective journey to discover yourself and more about bravely accepting the reflection that the data shows you?
It takes a lot of vulnerability to look at an unvarnished reflection and actually accept it as the truth.
It really does. So the next time you set up that intelligent mirror, don't be afraid of the patterns it finds. Embrace the reflection, grab the insights, and take the wheel.